All right, so gonna be a little bit like Mark Bell, because if we're being honest, most of us who lift weights have all been inspired by or helped by Mark Bell. So I'm doing a 10-minute walk outside my gym this morning, and I thought, you know what? Mark's got some good thoughts that come up on a 10-minute walk. So let's just see how bad I could butcher my first 10-minute walk and talk video inspired by Mark Bell, although not sponsored by Mark Bell. Not sponsored. The 10-minute talks are not sponsored. I don't think anybody's sponsoring these things. But anyway, so here we go. Let's start this off. I posted something yesterday about the 4 Masters athletes that all got popped for PEDs. And, well, quite frankly, I thought it would make a great first 10-minute talk, talking about steroids and PEDs on my first 10-minute talk and walk. So I actually got hit up by a few Masters athletes, and my biggest responders were Masters athletes, okay? So people hit me up after I went ahead and posted that. And so one person was really upset, actually said, this is the stupidest post ever, because I said maybe we should just let the Masters juice, right? And as a master, I said that. Now, it was a joke, and she took it seriously. But you know what? Let's just talk about it for a second. What happens if we let the Masters juice? Think about it, right? Masters taking steroids. Well, quite frankly, a lot of the Masters will be doing what they're doing now, because apparently a lot of the Masters are taking steroids. So there's one answer. Nothing changes. Number 2, maybe without having to hide it so much, Masters athletes start elongating their careers, doing better. Other side, that is, maybe Masters athletes get more injured, more jacked up, because they're using steroids. So there's that. The other thing is CrossFit, the CrossFit Games deteriorates from something that is about long-term health into something like a sideshow. Now, there might be arguments that it has already turned into a sideshow at the Masters level, and there might be arguments that, it really is promoting long-term health in our aging population. I say that 37, knowing that I really don't fit into either category all that well yet. Unless you're old, then you think I'm young. Unless you're young, you think I'm old. So, again, I don't really fit into any category. Most people my age just say, we're not old. Unless you don't work out, and then guess what? It don't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. If you don't work out, if you don't train your body and your mind, you're already getting old. Side note. So, what happens? Well, in my personal opinion, do I think it should be allowed? No, I do not think it should be allowed. I do not think Masters athletes should get to juice. Although I think if we do allow it, we should just stop pretending like we are not allowing it. There are sports that pretend that is the case, and I don't think that CrossFit should fall in line with that. So I'm okay if CrossFit decides to stop testing Masters athletes, although I don't think it will stop testing, nor do I think it should. I'm only okay with it if it's out there and we all know it. So that would be my real answer on should all Masters get away with taking steroids. So if you were kind of curious, does Ben really think that all Masters athletes should or could juice? The answer is no. Now, where are my personal opinions on whether I should juice? Well, let me just tell you this. I just qualified for a sanctional event, so I will not be juicing, nor have I ever juiced, taken any steroids. PEDs maybe is a gray line, fuzzy line, whatever you would say, because if you have taken anything to enhance your performance, technically you're taking something that's performance enhancing, and then is it a drug, you might argue that caffeine, creatine, depending on who you are drugs. So have I ever used steroids? No. Will I ever use steroids? Probably not. That being said, the day I use steroids, I will never come back to competition. So unless it's a, hey guys, everybody's using steroids competition. So the reason why would I use steroids? Well, number one, I would use steroids as an effective hormone replacement to maintain youthful energy, like in the gym, sexual intimacy, things like that, of course. Those are all the benefits of why people do it. And then using it above and beyond that to gain an advantage in sport, I really think is shady. It's a very low thing to do. People out there grinding, putting themselves out there, getting injured, and putting their lives, taking their, giving their best shoulders and their best knees and their best backs and their best muscles they can. And if you're cheating, I feel like that's pretty shady. So that's how I feel about steroids in sport, in my personal use. And it's my first 10-minute walk, and I've talked to Mark extensively about this, and he's talked to a lot of people about this, steroids in sport, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's a fun topic to talk about, and whatever your personal beliefs are on it, I can actually really see, because of how brutal sports can be on your body, how you end up on either side of the equation. And I know it sucks for me to say that, because I have to compete against guys who decide to end up on the other side of the equation, where they think it's okay to take steroids. Morally and ethically, I think it's wrong for all the reasons I said. But like I said, I think that we battle little demons in our mind all the time. And when there's money on the line and there's different things on the line, I think it's really hard to make the upright and correct decision every time. If you're out there and you're trying to consider, should I use steroids? I literally think that I'm not the best person to ask. I think you should do it always under the advisement of a doctor. And personally, I just think the answer for me is no, and will continue to be no for most, if not all, of my life. Other thing I want to talk to you guys about was I sent a text to one of my buddies in the fitness space, and I was texting with one of them, and I sent him a workout. It was 10-minute AMRAP. You guys saw me post about this earlier in the week, of 10 push-ups. 10 push-ups, 10 kettlebell swings with a 70-pound kettlebell to eye level. And he joked and said back, send me a workout that's actually hard. And he was joking. But it brought up my point, which is a lot of times you'll send a workout to somebody, or you give a workout to somebody, and they go, oh man, that workout was kind of easy. And you go, really? And then you ask them, hey, how many rounds did you do? How many sets you do? And they say, oh, I did 3 rounds, when really they should have done 5 rounds, or they should have done 10 rounds. And so finding intensity is really the key for a lot of these shorter workouts. Some of us are used to CrossFit style workouts, high intensity workouts. So if you're doing a 12-minute workout and you're expecting to be as fit as, Jason Khalipa, Rich Froning, Mark Bell, these guys, what's going to happen is you just aren't going to get anywhere. 12 minutes is really not long enough to build world-class strength like these guys have. So you have to put in like world-class intensity, so to speak, where you're willing to pay the price and hurt a little bit. So if you guys get a 10-minute workout or a 20-minute workout, just know it's not designed to go at the same speed that you do your hour-long bro sessions at, So anyway, there it is, you guys. My first 10-minute talk is in the books, 10-minute walk. I've done a few of these in my life, but where I talk the whole time, not really. We're about 1 minute left, and the last thing I want to say is I really don't plan on doing 10-minute talks all the time. I really do think that there's, for my personal reason why I did it is, one, yes, I do get inspired by Mark and what he does and the way he puts out his thoughts and his content all over the place and allows this inside his brain. But I think that there's not as much time to think in this world, and sometimes stream of consciousness as you move through space, like on a walk or on a treadmill, even though you're not actually moving. It just allows us to think in a way that is good for us, and we're not just constantly being stimulated and reacting to those things around us. We're actually coming up with our own thinking, our own thoughts, I should say, and doing our own thinking. Anyway, you guys, how would Mark end this? He'd say strength is never weakness, weakness never strength. How about this? Fitness is never unfitness, and unfitness is never fitness. Have a great day.